Grand Rising loves. Sorry that I skipped a couple days sharing the spread, even though I did actually do the spread for the collective and actually did the conscious work for the collective. I did not share it. I was giving myself ample time to commune with myself. And so that I won't apologize for. Here is the spread for today, for the 12th day of January, and happy new moon. The new moon energy is all about manifesting, and so what can you create for yourself? What have you healed enough to open those spaces to create something new within yourself, to manifest something more beautiful in your reality? Shit, don't stop. Don't stop it. Okay, so the sacred geometry that showed up for today is Nunagoon. Nunagoon is a nine-sided sacred geometry, but if you look at the number, the 5 and the 4, that's a 9. 9 is the number of completion, and that's exactly what that sacred shape represents. It's a graduation, it's a completion of a lesson. And so take today in this new moon to reflect on that. What have you learned in this past moon? What was the lesson? What can you actually offer gratitude for? Wow, that is new. That is the energy that I actually was gifted, the grace that I have acquired. And so it's always important for us to do those check-ins, to always commend ourselves in all of our victories. And so often we don't do that. A friend and I actually talked about this, and he said, so much we keep our victories in silence, but share our trauma out loud. And that's kind of gross, because then we are perpetuating our trauma. We are trying to recreate our trauma instead of recreating victories. That's just gross. So share more of the victories. And it's funny because I find myself, when I share my victories or when I share my uniqueness and I actually revere myself in public, it's so triggering because I see people retreat. I feel the retraction of that energy and that support. And you know what? I've become comfortable in that. I've become comfortable in that abandonment. So let's be comfortable sharing our victories. And the tree of life has shown up today in the reverse. And so the tree of life represents our connection, right? And so the tree of life talks about the depth of our roots is actually evidenced in the span of our boughs. So 58 is a 13, and 13 is a sacred feminine number. And the tree of life is what anchors us in this earthly realm. But showing up in the reverse, it's saying that you're disconnected. You really need to regather your thoughts before you move forward, because you're misleading yourself. And so we have to anchor ourselves. When we anchor ourselves, that's when our roots actually become nourished and our boughs widen and also heighten. And so the tree with the deepest roots is the tallest. And the tree with the widest span of roots gives the greatest shade in the heat of day. And when we start to realize as above, so below, your energy is so evidenced by that ability to anchor yourself in any experience. And the tree of life in reverse shows that you've actually become disconnected from that. So spend today communing with yourself and seeing where you need to fine tune that connection and where you really want to expand. If you want to reach greater heights, you got to dig deeper. If you want your reach to be greater, you've also got to be willing to expand. What can you do? Don't stop it. And so Calcite showed up again, and we've seen this recently. I love that this is showing up because this is exciting. Spontaneity is not about the okay, let's just do it on a whim. Spontaneity is about following that gut instinct. And when you are anchored in spirit and in this realm, and you are connected to all that is, your body will lead you by way of vibration and frequency. Spontaneity is following that frequency. It's like the breadcrumbs. Synchronicity is the breadcrumbs of spirit. We're Hansel and Gretel, right? Following the breadcrumb path to the candy home, to the abundance, to the prize. Keep your eye on the prize, right? That's what they always say. But I say be present. Enjoy the breadcrumbs, because that's just as important as the finish. So this is calcite. This is optical calcite from Iceland, and it's the bringer of light and the holder of light. It's harnessed in this beautiful, beautiful stone, and I wish I could hit it just right where you could see the amazing rainbows housed in this beautiful stone. Stop. Oh, there we go. Can you see? Look to the left. The brilliance of those hues is also what's within you. And that frequency translates. Spontaneity is not about acting on a whim, but it's actually about following instinct, intuition, and that's when you become more spirit. And I love that message. And so Hotso, the bounty way of the Navajo, the beauty way of the Navajo, bounty is also appropriate. That's also following the breadcrumbs. That's being led completely by intuition and spirit. But we come and have this human experience to help return to unity consciousness, to embody spirit. And we don't come here to hold people captive and to perpetuate pain. We don't come for that. We don't come for that. Don't get that shit twisted. We come to heal that so that we can return to unity consciousness and all connect. To not reject spirit, connection, communion, to not mistrust it, but to radically trust it. So that's the spread for today. And spontaneity actually takes radical trust. I love you. Please forgive me.